another Beauty Bay palette. Sorry, did I not say that? Did I say that? I don't know. Oh well, just keep going. Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm bringing you the 4th update for my Beauty A to Z project pan. This is a Pantastic Ladies collab and was created by Jessica and Amanda. The purpose is to pan a product for every letter of the alphabet. I'm using the English alphabet, so there are 26 letters. And on top of that, I'm doing this project Eyeshadow Edition with the goal to hit pan on all 26 shadows. As you might remember, along the bottom here are the 26 letters of the alphabet with details on what letters are already out of this project, which ones I have worked on since the last update, and what ones haven't been used at all. My goal from the last update was to at least touch any of the shadows currently remaining within this project that I hadn't used at all. And as you can see down below, I have managed to reach that goal. So all eyeshadows that are now in this project have been used at least once. I have 16 palettes here with the 16 eyeshadows that we have still been working on. So let's jump straight into it and look at the first letter. And all the details of uses, etc. will be up here somewhere for your information. So the first letter is B, and for that we've been working on a shade from my Total Eclipse W7 palette. That shade, sorry, there is a bit of plastic back here. That shade is Big Dipper, which is this one. Can you see that without me showing my whole mirror? Big Dipper is this one up here. It is like a glittery silver purple shade. I have used it 7 times since the last update, but unfortunately there is a little bit of a dip, but no pan. This one will be remaining in. For the letter C, we've been working on this Revolution Frozen Raspberries palette on the shade Cloudberry, which is this one just here. I will be putting pictures, you would have already seen it, but pictures up here and all that jazz. I have also used Cloudberry 7 times since the last update, and this palette is currently in my Eyes project pan. I'll link that up in the cards. So 7 times since the last update, not really much of a dip, not really any real noticeable usage, and this is remaining in this project. Then for D, we're still working on another I Heart Revolution palette. This is in Iced Latte, and we're working on the shade Decanted, this one just here. I've only used it twice since the last update, and though this palette is also in my Eyes project pan, we are nowhere near pan. So this one is definitely staying in. So for the letter E, we have the first pan for this update. This is from my Beauty Bay Midnight palette, and it is the shade Electric, which is this one down here. As you can see, there is a shiny little pan in there, and I only had to use it an additional 2 times since the last update to hit that little pan. So it took me a total of 12 uses to hit pan overall, and I hit pan on the 3rd of August. So this one is officially rolling out of this project. For the letter F, we are working on the Hocus Pocus palette by Mad Beauty, and the shade is Flirty Witch, which is this one just up here. It is a matte shade. There is a tiny bit of a dip starting to form. I used it an additional 6 times since the last update, but I will say it's a dip, but there is definitely a long way to go. G is the second pan of this update, and it's from my W7 Whatever Totally Random palette. We've been working on the shade Gold Card, which is this one just here, and as you can see, the pan right there. I used this 10 times since the last update. It took a total of 15 uses to hit pan, and I hit pan on the 16th of August. So this one is officially rolling out. I did also have a goal to hit 5 pans by this update. I'm not sure if I actually mentioned that in the video or if it was a bit of a side goal, but let's see how we've gone. Next, for the letter H, we've been working on a shade from this Sephora Caffeine Please palette. And it's the shade Hazelnut, which is this one right here. And there is a huge dip in it. And I would hope so, considering I've used it 22 times since the last update. I am wearing it today in my inner corner, and that is the majority of how I've used it. But we are not yet near pan, and I've used it 22 times this update alone. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll have pan by the next update, which I'm pretty sure is actually my finale. Next, for the letter K, we're working on my Revolution Game of Thrones palette, and for the shade Carl. And I'll say that I was surprised to hit this pan. I used this shadow in my eyebrows, but before last update, this shadow had not been used at all throughout this project. In fact, it had never been touched at all. It took me 15 uses to hit pan, and I hit pan on the 2nd of September. So this one did roll out. For the letter L, we are working on the Cult palette from Sample Beauty and the shade Liverpool, which is this one just here. And you can hardly tell it's been used. I have used it 6 times since the last update, but we are not close to pan. For N, we are working on the Revolution Beautiful Darkness palette and the shade Nightmare. And as you can see, I have managed to hit pan on this shadow. I used it 10 times since the last update for a total of 14 uses, and I hit pan on the 26th of September. So this one has also rolled out. For O, we've been working on another Sample Beauty palette. This is the Equalizer Volume 1. And we've been working on O Hearts, which is this shade just here. We do have a little dip starting to form, but I've only used it 4 times since the last update. So we do have a little ways to go. For T, we have the Bright 2.0 palette, and we've been working on the shade Taxi. That is this one down here. And as you can see, when I get the light just right, we have hit pan. I've used it 30 times since the last update. It took me 32 uses to hit pan, and I hit pan on the 26th of the 9th. Some of those uses were very soft uses, where I would use it to over the top of my eyeshadow primer, you know, like you would normally use a nude shade. I was using this yellow shade. I forgot what it's called specifically, but that was probably one of the reasons why it took so long to hit pan. It has so many uses because I wasn't using a large amounts of it every time. But like I said, 32 uses to hit pan. And I hit pan on the 26th of September. Then for V, we're working on another Beauty Bay palette, and this is the shade Valar. This palette is not easy to hold. It is this shade right here. And can you see that there is also a pan in there? I used it 13 times since the last update. I had 14 uses total, and I also hit pan on the 26th of September. Isn't it crazy that this is a matte and it only took me 14 uses to hit pan, while the Bright's shade in Taxi was also a matte, but it took me over 30 uses. I will say that could also be because there was a bit of a weird dip in this shadow. When I used it, it was almost a bit like an air bubble had been in that section where I focused my brush. So that could be one of the reasons. And this shade is very, very powdery in comparison to the Taxi shade. So that could also be one of the reasons why it didn't take as many uses. Then for W, we're working on the BH Cosmetics 80s Remix Dance Palette. We're working on the shade Wake Me Up. There is a definite dip starting to form. There is no pan as of yet, and I used it 8 times since the last update. I am hoping to have pan in this by the finale. Then for X, we're working on the Maybelline Blushed Nudes palette on the shade number 10, which is this one right here. I have used it 6 times since the last update, and we are nowhere near pan. And last but not least, we have the letter Z, and we're working on this LA Splash classic horror palette in the shade Zombie, which is this one just here. And there is a teeny tiny dip forming, but this is a massively hard pressed palette, and I have had slight issues with hard pan, hence why, if you can see it, maybe not there, but in the photo you can see the slight scratch marks on top of the shade. But I've used it 15 times since the last update. And my God, I have used this so many times and I am nowhere near hitting pan. Does anyone else have this palette? And if so, have you hit pan? How many uses did it take? Is this just my palette or is this all palettes? Because this one is definitely worth my money with the amount of time it's taking it to hit pan and the amount of pigment that you get in that pink. Hard pan, notwithstanding that's a little unlovely, but overall it is an enjoyable shade. But like I said, I'm yet to hit pan. So with that, I am pleased to say that I managed to hit pan on 6 shadows this update. That means I am left with 10 shadows that I do not have pan in. This is my last update before my finale. So we've got the October update and then my finale will be in December. I do not think that I am going to manage to hit pan in all 10 of these outstanding shadows. But if I can reach 20 pans overall, so that means there's only 6 shadows I haven't hit pans in, I will be incredibly happy and class this project as a success. Which shadows do you think that I will be able to hit pan on? Let me know down in the comments. I definitely think I will be able to hit pan on the hazelnut shade from this Sephora palette. This is what it is currently looking like. I definitely think I can hit pan on that one, but otherwise I am not really sure. I'll probably end up focusing a bit more on any outstanding shimmer shades because I do find that I have better luck hitting pan on shimmers than I do mattes. Let's see how the last run for the end goes. With that all said and done, I'm Verity. This was the 4th update for my Beauty A to Z project pan. And now to the outro.